Limits to growth. Learning objectives. Identify factors affecting carrying capacity. Identify limiting factors that depend on population density. Identify limiting factors that do not depend on population density. Explain the relationship between limiting factors and population extinction. Limiting factors. Limiting factors is any factor that controls the growth of a population. Limiting factors determine the carrying capacity of an environment for a species. There are two types of limiting factors, density-dependent and density-independent factors. Density-dependent factors. Limiting factors that operate more strongly when population density is high are called density-dependent limiting factors. These factors usually do not affect small scattered populations. Some of these limiting factors involve abiotic factors and others involve biotic factors. Density-dependent limiting factors include competition, parasitism and disease, stress from overcrowding, predation, and herbivory. When population density is high, individuals may compete for food, water, space, sunlight, and other potentially limiting resources. Competition is a density-dependent limiting factor because the more individuals that are present in an area, the sooner they use up available resources. Some individuals obtain enough resources to survive and reproduce. Others may obtain enough to survive, but not enough to raise offspring. Still, other individuals may starve or die from lack of shelter. Thus, competition for limiting resources can decrease, birth rates increase, death rates, or both. Animals compete for territory for a number of reasons. Some compete for territory in which they can find enough food for themselves or enough to attract a mate, breed, or raise young. Often individuals that can't establish or defend a territory cannot successfully breed and raise offspring. When parasites and other disease-causing organisms feed, they weaken their hosts and cause stress or even death to the host. Parasitism and disease are density-dependent limiting factors because the more dense the host population is, the more easily parasites can spread from one host to another. Stress from overcrowding. Some species fight amongst themselves if overcrowding. In some species, such as chimpanzees, the winner of a fight may kill his opponent. In other cases, constant fighting can cause stress, which weakens the body's ability to resist disease. Overcrowding can have other effects, too. In some species, overcrowding stress can cause females to neglect, kill, or even eat their own offspring. Predator-prey relationships. The effects of predators on prey and the effects of herbivores on plants are important density-dependent population controls. The populations of predators and prey may rise and fall over time. The populations will always rise and fall in correlation to one another. Herbivory can also contribute to changes in population size. From a plant's perspective, herbivores are predators, so it isn't surprising that populations of herbivores and plants cycle up and down, just like populations of predators and prey. On parts of the Isle Royale, large, dense moose populations can eat so much of the balsam fir that the populations of these favorite food plants drops. When this happens, moose may suffer from the lack of food because they ate so much. Human as predators. In some situations, human activity limits population. For example, 18th century hunters killed many otters, greatly increasing the population's death rate. Density-independent factors. Density-independent limiting factors affect all populations regardless of population size and density. In response to such factors, a population may crash. After the crash, the population may build up again quickly, or it may stay low for some time. Density-independent limiting factors include natural disasters and unusual weather. Examples are hurricanes, droughts, floods, and wildfires. Density-independent factors may actually vary with population density. Storms can nearly extinguish local populations of some species. These changes can cause severe declines in population sizes. If affected populations do not recover, these kinds of environmental changes can affect ecosystem stability. Long-term droughts may worsen, or more frequently by global climate change has combined several local human-caused environmental changes to affect plant and animal populations in places such as like California. Limiting factors that determine carrying capacity may not stay the same over time. What's more, carrying capacity can be affected by any human activity that affects local or global environments. Temperature, rainfall, and extreme weather are limiting factors for some organisms in certain environments. Temperature extremes and rainfall patterns can change if climate changes, either for natural reasons or because of human activity. Available space for feeding and other activities can also be a limiting factor for many animals. So when human activities divide natural environments into small pieces, the carrying capacity of those pieces of habitat for those species can be much smaller. If carrying capacity falls low enough, populations can be wiped out, leading to species extinction.